Rhythm, our chief legal editor, is getting us details of Subramanian Swami's petition, which demands a Supreme Court monitored probe as far as the Sunanda Pushkar murder is concerned. And we're told that the Supreme Court was shocked to hear that this case has not reached a conclusion so far. I wonder if we can go across to Rhythm and Nalini for the latest.
Absolutely. And Pariksha, this is a big breaking that's coming in from the Supreme Court. It's a massive break for Subramanian Swami because today the Supreme Court, even though they've not issued a notice on his appeal in the top court, has clearly raised several questions on the investigation by the Delhi police. And that becomes so crucial, Parikshit, because even earlier, when this case was being heard by the Delhi High Court, it's the Delhi police that was being questioned. Once again, it's the Delhi police that's being questioned. When Subramanian Swami started his arguments in the top court, the one thing the Supreme Court asked him is, have they not reached a conclusion? Something the Supreme Court kept saying again and again and again. They didn't understand how, after a gap of 3.5 years, the Delhi police continues to fail to reach a conclusion. There's no charge sheet in the case, as we all know, Parikshit, especially at Republic, because we have been at the forefront of each and every expose in the Sunanda Pushkar case, whether it was the Delhi police's shortcomings, whether it was the 19-part tape expose that was carried on by the SIT investigative head at Republic, Prema Sridevi, whether it was finding the mystery man Rajan Rao, who was at the Hotel Leela on that night when Sunanda Pushkar breathed her last, whether it is Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami questioning as to what's happening in the case. Remember, it's Republic who's been really trying to understand what happened in the case. So very clearly today, when the top court of the country asks, has there not been any conclusion in the case, it's very clear Subramanian Swami does need to answer this.
Rhythm, let's also quickly go over to Subramanian Swami's bite as he was getting out of the Supreme Court today after these major developments.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because Subramanian Swami himself said, I'm very happy that I'm being given chance and time to argue on the maintainability. He feels it's a great step for him because in 3 weeks' time, he'll come back to the top court and argue on the maintainability of his appeal. He was also very perturbed with the kind of sentences that had been used in the Delhi High Court against him. He wants to argue on that as well. But very clearly, it's the role of the Delhi police that's also under the scanner here. That's why in today's hearing, the top court of the country several times over said, what's happening with the Delhi police?
Well, Rhythm, if you can hear me, we'll quickly go over to Subramanian Swami's bite as he was getting out of the Supreme Court after the major proceedings today.
The Supreme Court bench first asked me whether the Delhi police has come to any conclusion yet on the Sunanda murder case. And I said, no, it has not yet come to any conclusion. It was to file a status report on 30th of November, but they have not filed it yet. Then they said this matter is very serious. And in view of the observations of the Delhi High Court, we want to go into this maintainability question seriously, whether the route you have adopted is something that we will feel is maintainable. And so I said, yes, that my argument should be heard first because some of the remarks, in my opinion, of the Delhi High Court was uncalled for. To call me a politician, I have fought so many cases. I fought against Jayalalitha and won the case. For 22 years, I went through 3 courts and nobody raised the question of my being a politician, nor in the 2G matter anybody raised this question. In fact, the judgment, Subramanian Swami versus Manmohan Singh, explicitly says there's nothing wrong with being a politician as long as you bring facts on record. There's an old case of Bhajanlal also, which said the same thing. So, in view of these remarks, which I have taken very strong objections in my petition, the court will hear me in detail 3 weeks from now. And so, therefore, around 3 weeks, I welcome this judgment, this order, because it gives me an opportunity to put the law very clearly so that in future people don't raise these questions of people's locus standi.
Well, that was Subramanian Swami, who had filed a plea before the Supreme Court asking for a court-monitored CBI SIT investigation in the Sunanda Pushkar case. Rhythm, let me come across to you now. The developments that happened in the court are extremely important today because we also in the morning, we just broke a story on how the Delhi police was continuing its shoddy probe and the Delhi police was not sharing enough information and documents relating to the Sunanda Pushkar murder with the Enforcement Directorate. We also got an exclusive copy of this letter. This letter was written by the ED Director to the Delhi Police Commissioner, asking the Delhi Police Commissioner, why is it that since the last 6 months I've been asking you for documents relating to Sunanda Pushkar's murder? Why is it that the Delhi Police is not sharing it with me? And immediately after that, just within hours after that, we saw those proceedings in the Supreme Court, Rhythm, and this is just an impact of a Republic TV investigation as well, because the court has not, this time, the Supreme Court has not dismissed Swami's plea, Rhythm. So that is a major development in its own.
Yes. Absolutely. And Prema, you hit the nail on the head by saying that, because, you know, the absolute observation by the top court is they repeatedly ask, they haven't reached any conclusion yet. So very clearly not dismissing. This is exactly what also happened in the Delhi High Court. For the longest time, the Delhi High Court had not issued notice on Swami's plea. But the fact that they've given him 3 weeks' time to go ahead and to prepare his case, to argue on maintainability is very important. The judges, in fact, asked Subramanian Swami today, what conclusion has the Delhi police reached? If you actually look at that, in conclusion, and with what the exclusive angle that has been broken on Republic today is, whereas the Delhi police has still not, spoken to the Enforcement Directorate, still not shared crucial documents on the IPL angle, it's very clear that they have to give answers, Parikshit. So very clearly, it is the Delhi police that has to examine its role again. 3.5 years have gone by. In fact, I believe it's now 4 years that have gone by. There is still no charge sheet. There is still no closure report.
Absolutely, and it's shocking. Prema brought to us that investigation, that letter from the Enforcement Directorate, which was scathing. The ED Director wants to know, why aren't you giving us details of the IPL angle in this investigation? January 2014, that was when the death took place. Until now, no closure for the family of Sunanda Pushkar. We leave it there for the moment. We request all our reporters, Rhythm Anand Bharadwaj, Nalini and Prema, to continue being with us. We're getting some more breaking from the Supreme Court.